Heya Cryptozens, tonight's show. White House takes hard line on proof of work. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time. The date is September 8th, 2022. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. My name is Nikodemus, and I'll be your host. The cover model, mascot, and co-host for this podcast is Tex. And together, we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. Some time back, President Joe Biden issued an executive order on cryptocurrencies. In that executive order, President Biden directed the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy, or OSTP. They were to take a look at several things around the whole distributed ledger technologies thing. In scope for this effort, they included energy usage, the effects on climate change, and the impact on the environment. Well, the OSTP issued their response today. In this report, they issue a call for the Department of Energy and the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, to work with state and local officials. The goal for that would be to establish standards for crypto's impact on the planet. So they'd be looking at how much energy is used and where it comes from, noise pollution concerns. Remember the people complaining about the miners in New York? One of the things that they were concerned about was water temperature. Another one was noise pollution. So in the report, OSTP said, quote, "Should these measures prove ineffective at reducing impacts, the administration should explore executive actions, and Congress might consider legislation to limit or eliminate the use of high energy intensity consensus mechanisms for crypto asset mining." It is their view that Bitcoin mining undermines the country's sustainability goals. To support that assertion, they wrote, quote, "Global electricity generation for the crypto assets with the largest markets capitalizations resulted in a combined 140 plus or minus 30 million metric tons of carbon dioxide per year, or about 0.3% of global annual greenhouse gases emissions. 3% of global GHG emissions. Yeah, we're going to get back to that one. One of the things that they're concerned about is the electrical grid. The administration says they want to make sure that crypto mining doesn't jack the prices of electricity up, that it doesn't contribute to grid instability. Look at what's going on in California right now. Just yesterday, the governor of California had to ask his citizens to stop using so much electricity. Britain and all of Europe right now, they're all facing an energy crisis. But on the other side of that, of course, are the miners. Now, they suggest that you can make the grid more reliable. When the sun is shining, when the wind is blowing, you can create sustainable energy. But if nobody taps into it, it's kind of wasted. So crypto miners can smooth the grid's usage out, consuming in the off times and shutting down during peak periods. This last summer, Texas showed us exactly how well that could work. Miners there voluntarily turned off their operations when heat waves swept through the area. The White House was not moved by that argument. They said, quote, "While reducing this peak during a grid emergency is valuable, the increased peak is often why demand response is necessary, establishing misaligned incentives between the crypto asset miners and grid operators. Full transparency of demand response participation and payments by crypto asset miners and other demand response participants are essential." So, to explore the energy usage of crypto mining further, the White House wants more information on how the industry uses clean energy. Obviously, if a miner operates without using carbon-emitting energy, then they don't contribute to emissions harm. The problem is that there's, quote, "uncertainty around how much of the energy the mining industry uses is clean and how much is not." Now, one potential source, methane. Remember those miners that used flared and vented methane? There was some quiet, cautious support for that. This is relatively new in the last couple of years. The mining operation gets set up deploying their data center right at the natural gas extraction sites. The report said, quote, "While the EPA and Department of the Interior have proposed new rules to reduce methane for oil and gas operations, crypto asset mining operations that capture vented methane to produce electricity can yield positive results for the climate, by converting the potent methane to carbon dioxide during combustion. Mining operations, though, could potentially be more reliable and more efficient at converting methane to carbon dioxide. At the time of writing, the global crypto market cap is $983 billion. That's up 0.42%. Not much, but better than nothing. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin down 0.37%, Ethereum down 0.82%, Tether, USDC, and Binance Coin up 0.42%. Don't get too excited about those comments on using methane. The report also said using vapor collection technologies might be more effective. However, they did say, quote, crypto asset mining that installs equipment to use vented methane to generate electricity for operations is more likely to help rather than hinder U.S. climate objectives. So that's something. Now, their goal, of course, is to get the entire industry to zero emissions. Now, what they mean by that is that people who use renewable energy resources, people who build the facilities to get renewable energy resources, and those who use resources that would have otherwise been lost. That's what they're looking for. Now, getting there may or may not be a matter of choice. They said, to help U.S. climate objectives, industry could volunteer or be required to build zero-carbon energy capacity that produces more electricity than the crypto asset miner requires, selling excess clean energy back to the grid. And the White House is not kidding around here. The future of the entire crypto mining industry is potentially at stake. If they don't feel like their measures are working, they might ban the whole thing. Quote, should these measures prove ineffective at reducing impacts, the administration should explore executive actions, and Congress might consider legislation to eliminate or limit the use of high energy intensity consensus mechanisms for crypto asset mining. This could have interesting results. Now, right now, the U.S. is the global mining headquarters, the place to be if you want to mine Bitcoin. For now, anyway. When China banned crypto mining, they fled to the U.S. The nation's share of Bitcoin mining went from 3.5% in 2020 to 38% now. So greater than a 10x increase. So their criticism here was on the proof-of-work chains. They did take note of Ethereum's impending merge, which will take it from a proof-of-work to a proof-of-stake blockchain. This will make Ethereum 99% more efficient, 99% greener, and 99% more palatable to those who are concerned about the environment. Okay, I'm going to read you a quote. You spot the mistake. Quote, there have been growing calls for proof-of-work blockchains to adopt less energy-intensive consensus mechanisms. The most prominent reaction has been Ethereum's promised launch of Ethereum 2.0, which uses a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. That's right, Ethereum 2.0. Where did they come up with that nonsense? And it was not any reaction to anything. That was always part of the plan. But you know what that means, right? Increased pressure on proof-of-work chains to undergo their own merge. The global NFT market cap is down 16.97%. According to CoinMarketCap, the top 5 NFT collections by sales volume are Othered Ape, followed by Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, Tykes, and Mutant Apes. Now keep in mind, some of these collections have very volatile prices, so do your own research. Now, I said I was going to come back to something. Remember that statement that crypto mining was responsible for 0.3% of global GHG emissions? I'm surprised it wasn't followed up by something more insipid like, and that's the entire energy output of Germany, or some nonsense like that. Those kind of comparisons are ridiculous, frankly. Ridiculous and insulting. I was responding to a tweet on the subject earlier today when I raised a point that I'm not sure I've seen raised elsewhere. Because I've seen other people raising comparisons in defense of crypto and crypto mining. People say things like, oh, how much energy do all those air conditioners use? Or how much energy do all those cruise ships take? as we like to do on this show, let's take a look at the numbers. At the time of writing, the global transportation industry caused 27% of greenhouse gases. Electrical production was 25%. Industry, meaning the sector that produces raw materials and goods that we use every day, 24% for industry. Commercial and residential, so homes and places of business, 13%. Agriculture, 11%. Land use and forestry, 13%. Those numbers come from the EPA. So electricity, 25%. Well, crypto mining certainly doesn't use all of that. And 40% of our electricity produced comes from green or renewable resources. 60% comes from fossil fuels. But they're trying to say that 0.3% used by crypto is the problem. So let's make a fair comparison, apples to apples. How much energy is used in fiat banking? That's a direct, fair comparison. System versus system. Well, fiat banking requires fiat. In that case, that's a physical currency. So that means printing press, printing paper bills, and machines that stamp out coins. Lots of different bills, which increases inefficiencies, and lots of different coins. I wonder how much energy is used in the creation of all that fiat. But it's not just the creation alone. That fiat has to be somewhere. It's mass, it has weight, and takes up space. A lot of it. So, banks. Big buildings that use electricity and heat and water. And the fiat currency doesn't just teleport from place to place. Big, tough people drive big, tough trucks just to move the fiat around. These trucks are heavy. Yeah, they get between like 5 and 8 miles to the gallon. And that's just on the road. They don't move fiat currency directly from city to city in stagecoaches. Planes move currency. Big old fuel-guzzling, air-polluting airplanes move currency. Now, it's not just money sitting in a bank. People also go to that bank. And since they don't live there, they're transported to work to support the fiat currency system. Perhaps less now post-pandemic, but it's still a thing, going to the bank and seeing a bank teller there. So yeah, that uses energy. And there's all the ATM machines and the change machines, slots to put this currency in or that bill in. Those all support the fiat system, and they are all a cost in terms of energy to move currency in and out. Someone has to stock the ATM machines. Someone needs to get the dollar bills out of the bus token machine. And thieves. When they asked Willie Sutton why he robbed banks, Sutton simply replied, because that's where the money is. If there were no physical fiat currency, robbing banks wouldn't happen because there's nothing there to rob. So if you do a direct system-to-system comparison between crypto and fiat, crypto isn't your enemy if you're concerned about the environment. I mean, look, I get it. The planet is important to me too, because I do live here. And yes, changes do need to be made. Meaningful changes. I support meaningful changes. But meaningful changes in this case doesn't mean banning an entire industry that is, frankly, one of the least of your concerns. It means about being honest about what the real problems are. Putting effort to where it does the most good, not where it just looks the best. At this point, I have to wonder if the aim of the report was to protect the environment or to protect the status quo. And we're going to leave it there for tonight. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. Take care of yourselves, but take care of each other too. I'll see you tomorrow night.